anything mundane, and as soon as Dave started to bring up anything important, his cell phone would start to, crackle and stuff, and then you could say, if Dave mentioned Britney Spears, nothing would happen, but as soon as he starts to mention mind control and RFID chips, he gets cut off, and his cell phone keeps dying. So like I said, when you're over target, you get the most flack. So apparently he's not lying, and apparently him and James must be credible. I mean, obviously I already know they're credible. I'm just being sarcastic. Dave, tell the audience about your case and where they can go read about it. James was telling me there's an entire webpage devoted to what you've been going through. So tell the listeners where they can go check out your story for themselves.
Absolutely.
Okay, now, before I continue with this particular video file, I'm gonna make a couple statements. Hold on a second. Now, I gotta prop something up here so I can set the video camera down so I can talk. Alright, I apologize I interrupted that audio of that YouTube video. Fellow American citizens and fellow San Diegans, fellow Californians, and literally even actually citizens worldwide, because these criminal expeditions that this audio file is describing are happening towards innocent people and peoples in other countries as well. In fact, I just got done about an hour and a half ago listening to a targeted individual, and I don't think he's from America, and he was talking about these crimes. I think he was from Belgium. Hang on a second. Now, I'm aware that totally and completely aware that I'm just one person and that this is just YouTube, but I gotta use what I got, basically what I'm trying to say is that I gotta make the best of what I got and use what I got to inform, to expose. Obviously you see that I'm making this video in a tent because I'm homeless, and the homelessness was literally created of me as a result of me being a targeted individual. Now, if you've never heard this description before, or if you've never heard this term before, you can go to Google and type in gang stalking and or organized stalking, and research it meticulously and extensively with a mature posture. And you will conclude that targeted individuals are made homeless by the perpetrators of these criminal realities. Now, organized stalking and gang stalking is not stalking by gangs at all. It's just a form of COINTELPRO and community-based harassment that is perpetrated against innocent people, because the individuals who are managing these expeditions I'm just gonna basically, this video is gonna basically, in a sense, just gonna be raw. Okay, for one, I'm not feeling that great today. I got a migraine. And so basically what I'm saying is that I'm gonna make my statements in this video using lay terms, just opening up my mouth and speaking to you as if I was sitting next to you and talking to you about these criminal realities. Because I think it's important that you just witness truth. I'm just a person describing to you what's happening to me and my fellow targeted individuals. Now, a lot of the crimes that happen towards targeted individuals, one targeted individual can be picked by the perpetrators for multiple criminal motivations. Anything from, but not limited to, human trafficking, sexual servitude rings, prostitution rings, land co-opting, property co-opting, mortgage co-opting, trust fund liquidation, identity theft, non-consensual human experimentation. That's right. Forced labor. Now, organized stalking and gang stalking is literally nothing but, literally, organized crime in the system at the military, federal, and state and local level. And they all work hand in hand concerning these criminal expeditions. But they are not the only, the government is not the only ones that are involved in these criminal realities. So are corporations, the wealthy, organized crime. That's right. But make no mistake about it, it doesn't have to be the government that initiates it against you. The wealthy can, and when they do, they can get the cooperation of the government, because it's a pool. In other words, what I'm saying is that it's an octopus that's got 5 tentacles. And whenever one set up if one group decides to target or organize, a person and make them an organized stalking, gang stalking target, then they can utilize the government employees that are also involved in these crimes. They can also initiate, in their resources, they can also initiate the corporate level of the gang stalking against the target individual. Just do your research and you will see what I'm telling you is the truth. Now, as a result of me being a target, victim, and activist concerned in the criminal expeditions of what is known as organized stalking, which can also be termed as gang stalking, every single aspect of an area of my life has been completely and totally destroyed. From my credit to my home, all my property has been stolen from me. I am covertly blacklisted from employment. I am disabled, but but I am allowed to work part-time, but I couldn't even do that right now because I'm literally blacklisted from employment, even part-time employment. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm basically just going to play you an insert from a YouTube video. I want you to listen to this. Before I play it, though, I want to make a statement to you. I believe it was in either October, November, or December, because it's been a while now, 2011, on USD campus, I attended a seminar that the CIA was holding. It was like a job fair, okay? And I went to it. You better believe I went to it. And I was sitting in position in a chair, sitting next to people who were gaslighting me with gang stalking, gaslighting techniques. And I was sitting in a chair waiting for the CIA individuals to come out to discuss why they were there, concerning job opportunities with the CIA, concerning USD alumni and students, okay? And as I was sitting there, being gaslighted by the individuals that were literally sitting next to me and in front of me, once the individuals came out that were hosting this CIA employment fair, did they engage in certain physical gestures to overtly let me know that they knew who I was? Who am I? Well, my father was Chief MP to General Curtis LeMay. There's retired NASA in my family, retired high-ranking Air Force in my family, and my ex-husband was a submarine radar antenna electrician. Now, if you research these criminal realities and some of the technological resources that can be perpetrated against an organized stalking, gang stalking targeted individual, you will automatically you will almost instantly come to realize on the internet that the microwave hearing effect is being perpetrated against organized stalking, gang stalking targeted individuals, or can be. The microwave hearing effect is used by submarine radars. Now, insurance fraud is also another criminal motivation behind these criminal realities. So what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to stop talking right now just for a second because this video is not turning out the way I wanted it to, but I'm going to keep it. I'm going to continue to make it. I'm going to keep it. And right now what I'm going to do is I got my cell phone out. Let me put my glasses on. And I got my cell phone out, and what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to read you a title of a YouTube video that you need to go to and listen to the entire video. Now, this video's YouTube title is as follows, and then I got a statement to make concerning James Lambert's name. Follow these instructions, type them in at Google and YouTube. Down the rabbit hole, w/PyPy parentheses 05/22/2011 and then the parentheses that will end the what's the date that's in the date and the year that's in the parentheses. James Lambert, okay, and David Larson. Now, this YouTube channel, Federal Jack, spelled James Walbert's name wrong. They spelled it James Lambert, but you got to type in James Lambert in order to bring it up. Watch the entire video. Again, down the rabbit hole with PyPy 5/22/2011, James Lambert and David Larson. And I'm going to play you right now a segment of that interview, and I want you to pay close attention to what David Larson is saying. Now, he's an elected official in Yucca Valley, okay? Now, I want you to pay close attention to what he's got to say concerning how the CIA has weapons that can control and manipulate human behavior, okay, and their brain states.
Absolutely, thank you. My website is www.ccc.org. electlarson.com. That's electlarson, LARSON.com. And I have uploaded some selected court documents, filings, and that sort of thing. Probably the best way to look at the evidence would be to pull up the civil complaint and look at the attached articles of evidence. And it is a pretty compelling case. My case, perhaps more than any other, is very well documented. Like I said, I've had medical doctors remove medical devices. These medical devices were replaced by contract personnel. I have sat next to the contract personnel. I have had discussions with contract personnel, and there are some significant problems. And just to clarify and to stay on point here, we're talking about a couple of things here. We're talking about, one, research and development. And research and development has occurred using innocent American civilians as unwitting research subjects. And this is very much like what happened during MK Ultra and these other activities from the 60s and 70s. Now that we're in a post-9/11 era, what we're seeing is operational use. I think we're past the point of R&D, and they're actually using this stuff operationally now. And my biggest complaint and my biggest fear is that we need to have a line here. There is a difference between using this stuff on a terrorist in Abu Ghraib and using it on an elected official in the state of California or in Washington, D.C. Those are two very different things. Because what's very important here is we're not talking just surveillance. We are talking about an ability to not only place a target under surveillance, but to actually control and manipulate their behavior.
Did this wake you up, Dave, to the New World Order? Did the experience that you're going through wake you up to what's going on?
Well, it's disturbing. It's extremely disturbing, and it is an eye-opener. And I think a lot of people are complacent because this kind of thing isn't in the news. It's not in front of their face. But there are some very reputable sources out there, primarily the Inspector General from the Central Intelligence Agency. And if anybody's wondering about this stuff, or if anybody thinks that they're affected by this stuff, I would highly encourage every member of Congress to read the Inspector General report from 1963, in which the CIA IG documents explicitly that innocent Americans were being used as unwitting research subjects, that a capability was being developed to deploy these medical devices surreptitiously. The Inspector General's report, right in the report, says that CIA was using devices for remote monitoring of physiological signals. Now, the other documents from MK Ultra substantiate that they were using national brand shortwave radios, EEGs, and other sort of equipment. And without getting into too much detail about the capabilities, because I don't want to cross the line where we're disclosing operational capabilities, but to simplify what's going on here is that medical devices are placed into a victim surreptitiously when they're unconscious with an anesthesia, and the CIA has refined the capability to deploy this stuff without the victim knowing about it. Once those medical devices are placed, and they're placed during the provisions of a rendition, that's the legal framework that is being used. During the provisions of a rendition, the medical devices are placed. Once they are placed, they can interact with those medical devices using FCC-regulated radio spectrum. The contractor I am familiar with received an FCC license that is good through 2012. So at the current moment, this program is good through 2012. It's funded in Congress through 2012, and it is the FCC license that is allowing intelligence personnel to interact with these medical devices is also good through 2012. Now, and again, I want to be crystal clear on this, is that there has to be a line on how this is used. I think the biggest problem we're seeing today is that the Bush administration was able to assert that they may deploy these medical devices upon anybody they want at their sole discretion, and then keep the identity of the affected individual a secret. and that's primarily the ghost detainee and ghost detention practices. And this is the legal framework that I think is being exploited, is that can describe a detainee, not somebody who is in the custody of the government, but somebody who is in the custody of or otherwise under the control of the U.S. government. So that part that says that you can be otherwise under the control of the U.S. government and be a detainee, that means you don't have to be in the physical custody of the government to be a detainee. It is my allegation and my belief that these provisions have been exploited domestically to subject people who don't even know it to a strange form of indefinite detention. And
is there anything that these people could specifically look for, like that either one of you, either Dave or James, could tell the listeners? Because somebody in the chat room asked, are there specific symptoms that someone should look for that might be a red flag that they've been, tagged with a chip unbeknownst to them? I mean, it's creepy enough that they could put a chip in your skin. It's creepier the fact that they could nail you and you wouldn't even know it.
Yeah, no. Let me be crystal clear on this. They have the ability to surreptitiously deploy this biomedical product. The people they do this to, they wake up the next day and they go to work and they have no idea what hit them. Back in 1997, when this stuff was deployed on me, they weren't quite bad. There are instances in which people have woken up during the deployment of the biomedical product. And there are instances like that. However, today, they can deploy the biomedical product and the person won't even know what hit them. And without getting into too much detail, I just want to touch briefly on these kinds of symptoms, is that the basic capability here is to record from the biological system. Now, if they put these medical devices in the optical nerve, then they're going to be able to record what you see. If they put them in the auditory nerve, they're going to be able to record what you hear. If they put them in the muscles of your arms and legs, they're going to be able to record that EMG activity.
How would you know, is there any specific symptom? Well, there's two questions. One.
Okay, now, again, I've already given you the YouTube title name of this YouTube video, and I strongly suggest that everybody, okay, pay close attention to this YouTube video. And I want to thank Pi from Federal Jack YouTube channel for making this video. My name is Leslie Williams. I'm in San Diego, California. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to draw it out and then I'm going to show it to you. It's it's going to be very small. And I got to say the following cleverly, because these filthy criminal whores that are responsible for the perpetration of these criminal realities against innocent people. Hold on. Hold on one second. Some bicycles just went by and now a motorcycle's going by. Hold on. Now the picture I'm going to draw you right now, well, let me just backtrack a second. The filthy perpetrators that are in the system that perpetrate these criminal realities and that protect them using the system to do it will literally label a target individual as being mentally ill, delusional, paranoid, schizophrenic, bipolar, dementia, any mental diagnosis that they can criminally and falsely and intentionally label a target as is how they defend themselves. They figure that all they got to do is discredit the target's mental stability and they will not be able to be believed, and they can also use these mental diagnoses to institutionalize the target or put them in prison. That's right, you would not believe what I know. Now, I'm going to show you a picture right now of an eye. So the following that I'm getting ready to show you and the statements that are going to work with it, okay, the statements that I make concerning this picture that I'm showing you are going to be made carefully. Because remember what I just stated. They will take what a target states and use it against them. This picture right now is me showing you a video picture of an eye. Now you might think to yourself, where are all these white dots that you see around the eye? Well, the central nervous system runs by nerve fibers, okay, around the eye, and whatever the retina sees, the retina produces the images through the optical nerves, and the image that the retina transmits to the optical nerves then go to the video cortex. Okay? Now, again, I gotta say the following cleverly, because they will use anything that you say against you in order to cover up the criminal realities that have happened against the target individual that might be exposing what they're experiencing. So I'm gonna say the following cleverly. I noticed in a person's blog, okay, that this person who is a target of these crimes stated in this blog, remember, I'm stating this carefully, but I think you'll understand what I'm saying. I read this person's blog who's a target of these crimes of non-consensual human experimentation, and gang stalking is directly connected to it as well. This person who wrote the blog stated in the blog that whenever, like you know how, like, when you go to sleep at night and you got the lights off and you're in your bed or wherever, your bed, wherever you're sleeping at, it's pitch dark. And this person stated that on numerous occasions they sneezed. And when they sneezed, you know how, like, when you sneeze, like, I'm going to pretend I'm sneezing right now just to give you an example, but you know how sometimes when you sneeze, you cover your you block your nose so you don't, like, if you're in a library and you're going to sneeze and you're worried about disrupting, you know, the quietness of the library, you might hold your nose so the achoo don't come out. Well, this person stated that, all right, well, let me just show you a sneeze really fast. Achoo! Like that. Okay, now, you might also, when you sneeze and you cover your nose, and you plug your nose while you're sneezing, you might go, Ach! Well, that's a violent force, okay, that is being sent up through the physiological signals and the central nervous system up to the optical nerve. In other words, it's electrical chemical activity happening as this is occurring, as you're sneezing. Just bear with me, because you'll see what I'm saying in a second. Now, when this person who wrote the blog, what this person wrote is that when they sneezed, whether they sneezed openly and outwardly, or when they held their nose as they sneezed, white lights would appear in the fashion in their eyes, with their eyes closed, okay, in the dotted array that you see here. In other words, they were able to see these white dot lights, okay, in their video cortex with their eyes closed as a result of violently sneezing. Okay? So am I talking about nanobots, nanoparticulars being placed in the individual's optical nerves? As a result, the perpetrators who are accessing this nanotechnology can see everything the target individual is seeing. So if you have a gang stalking target individual who has a audio implant in their audio nerve and optical implants in their optical nerves, the people that place them in there can have the capacity to see what the target individual is seeing and hearing what the target individual is thinking, and what they're hearing as well. Because whenever you have an internal thought, you're using your audio cortex. You're using your own subvocal speech. Now, so if they have criminal aspirations for a target individual and they want to set a target individual up to be arrested so they can throw them in jail because they're whistleblowing, they can see when a target individual is leaving their home. They can see what street they're walking down, what bus they're getting on, when they're getting off the bus, in order to place the individuals around that target individual on that specific day to bring about an event, blame the target for the event, and cause them to be arrested. Surveillance. Now, go to Google right now and type in the following way that I describe. Do it. Now, if you're at Google right now, type in Clyde Lewis, okay, space, SoundCloud, no, wait a minute, no, type in Clyde Lewis space, Ground Zero space, SoundCloud. Hit enter. I was looking for it on my digital tape recorder. I called up the Ground Zero radio show on February 5th, 2014, and spoke to Clyde Lewis and an individual who had wrote a book concerning transhumanism. Okay? That's right. That's why a lot of this illegal, non-consensual human experimentation is happening towards organized stalking, gang stalking, target individuals. Because basically what they're doing is developing technology, okay, and tweaking it, using non-consensual human experimentation targets to do it in order to weaponize it. That's right. So I called the Ground Zero show on February 5th, 2014, and I asked Clyde Lewis once they put me on the show, a nationwide show, if he had ever heard of the Blue Brain Project. And the individual who was also on the show with Clyde Lewis, I forgot his name, but you'll discover, I think the title of the show is I, Humanist. Okay, you'll find it and you can listen to the entire show, including me being on the show, by typing in Clyde Lewis Ground Zero SoundCloud and then scrolling through the archives to find the February 5th 2014 show. I've also been on Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis on numerous other occasions. Lately though, I've been having a hard time getting through, so I don't know if I've been banned or what. As far as the perpetrators go, not Ground Zero. Because my phone is hacked like you would not believe. In fact, I just bought this brand new cell phone within the last week, and numbers are already appearing on it by numbers that I do not even know. I don't even know anybody because they have me isolated, and because I have made sure that I do not attempt to form any type of social relationship with anybody, because they will infiltrate your life in order to try and entrap you. Okay? That's right, and I'm not going to go there in this particular video, but the point I'm trying to make right now is that you literally hear me asking Clyde Lewis's guest on this show about the Blue Brain Project, because that's part of the criminal aspirations that DARPA has for these non-consensual human experimentation targets. That's right. And these expeditions concerning the Blue Brain Project is also going on in other countries, and the citizens of those countries are being subject to the same exact criminal realities. So you hear me asking Clyde Lewis and his guest who wrote the book, I forgot the title of the book, but if you just listen to it, you know, by following the instructions that I just aforementioned, you'll be able to hear the entire show and you'll be able to hear me on it. So I asked him if he's ever heard of the Blue Brain Project, and he goes, no, he didn't. The guest did. So I said, well, and he asked me how I ran across this term. And I said, well, because I was exploring on the internet, on Google, mind hacking, mind transfer, and mind uploading. And then he cut me off and said, no, what you're talking about is remote neural monitoring. Now, you just heard David Larson discuss, okay, how the government, okay, and their alphabet agencies are accessing unwitting, non-consensual human experimentation targets, okay, neurally and physiologically in order to control their behavior. Well, the guy on the Ground Zero show said that remote neural monitoring is being used so the perpetrators in the government can see what you're doing, hear what you're doing, and manipulate your emotional states, which includes even bringing a targeted individual into rage, where they can literally control you neurally and physiologically. Now, there's other things that are attached to these criminal motivations and these other aspirations, like the Blue Brain Project, where they're trying to reverse engineer the brain down to the mammalian level, is being done through the abuse and the torture. Because when anybody is ever being abused, bullied, and/or tortured, sorry, the Mountain Dew ain't agreeing with me, brain cells die. And if you are abused and tortured on a daily basis, okay, either through the microwave hearing effect, the directed energy weapons, the remote neural monitoring, and the gang stalking, your brain is literally being killed, because bullying does kill brain cells. Just Google it and extensively research it and you'll see it. So is this in part the reason why the assault and the tortures are taking place? In order to basically reverse engineer the brain down to kill all of the neural circuitry that the brain has already formed throughout the years of the life of the targeted individual? Basically what they're trying to do is empty the cup, so they can reprogram the brain through neural encoding and decoding. Torture. It's literal torture. Now, you can go to YouTube right now and type in UnitedTargetedIndividualsEurope.com and look at their YouTube videos and their website. Now, even though these targeted individuals are from Europe, make no mistake about it, there are several guests on this website that are from America. That's right, and the technology that is being perpetrated against all gang stalking targets, no matter if they're in America or not, were developed by the United States military and certain Russian, okay, intelligence groups. Make no mistake about this. What is happening to targeted individuals is real, it's exacting, it's methodical, okay, and it's literally flat out nothing but torture. So, as a result of me being a gang stalking target I decided to open up my mouth and discuss a little bit more about what's happening to me, which has even put me in danger. So uneducated targeted individuals can deduce what's happening to them, so the traumatization is not affecting them so much. That's right, so they can keep themselves low. Knowledge is power. If you have knowledge about something that's happening to you and how it's happening to you and why it's happening to you, then you're not so traumatized by it. As a result, you're able to engage in more critical thinking in order to survive. So I went on a limb and I discussed a little bit more concerning what is happening to me in some of my previous videos, like the microwave hearing effect and remote neural monitoring. Well, if they ever set me up for any type of a staged event along my routes, arrest me and then say, well, we discovered your videos online and you're claiming you're hearing voices, so we're going to put you away. I did that for the sake of my fellow targeted individuals. That's right. That's right. Now you can also go to Google and YouTube and type in Julian McKinney and Greg Schemansky live leak broadcast. And you'll clearly hear Julian McKinney discuss how they're neurally choreographing even the people that they're getting to harass a targeted individual. These people who are responsible for these filthy criminal realities do not care at all. They're literally even torturing infants of targets. That's right. You would not believe what I know. So, in closing, I'm going to play you one small segment of one of the times that I was on Ground Zero. And what you're going to be listening for is this as well. You're going to hear me talking about how targeted individuals can hear long, sustained tones in their ears. That was just mentioned on this James Lambert interview with David Larson and Pi Pi. They talked about targeted individuals hearing long, sustained tones in their ears. I also talk about the ELF wave transmissions that are organized talking, gang stalking targeted individuals can experience. This interview that you're hearing me being on the Clyde Zero Ground Zero show on September 17, 2013, which you can also go back and listen to the entire show by going to SoundCloud in the way that I've already aforementioned. You can go back and listen to the entire show. I talked about how targeted individuals can experience ELF wave transmissions. This show was dedicated to the Naval Yard, Washington shooter, okay? And the show was on 9/17/2013. The day after, it was all over the news that the Naval Yard shooter wrote on his shotgun, "This is my ELF weapon." The whole entire show was concerning the Naval Yard shooter being gang stalked. And ELF wave transmissions, are they transmitted against organized stalking, gang stalking targeted individuals? Well, all you got to do is go to Google and YouTube it. Google it. You can go to YouTube and type in John Hall satellite terrorism. He talks about ELF wave transmissions. If you listen to enough of them, you'll find him saying it. That's right. So think about this. If I'm talking on a national radio show about how gang stalking targets can experience ELF wave transmissions, and then the very next day, it's all over the news that the Naval Yard shooter wrote on his gun, "This is my ELF weapon, ELF." What does that tell you? I also mentioned that my ex-husband was a submarine radar antenna electrician. I think it was on either 927 or 928. On the same Ground Zero show, it talked about the microwave hearing effect and about how submarine radars were involved in it. I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Leslie Williams. I made this video to inform, to expose the truth, so the truth can be known concerning these filthy criminal whores that are torturing innocent people for profit, for gain, for research. That's right. Here's the show right here.
Nancy Sinatra. It's a wide range.
Wow, it's amazing. Go to some more phone calls now. We have Leslie calling in from California, KOGO 600 AM. Hi, Leslie, you're on ground.
Oh, hang on. Low battery. Hold on just 1 second. Gotta get the battery out. Turn it back on, the battery was out. Alright, hold on 1 second. One second, the battery ran out. So the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is because I think it's important that people can educate themselves concerning these criminal realities so they can know what to look out for, so they can protect their loved ones and their property, okay? Their bank accounts. That's right, that's right. Organized stalking and gang stalking has been covered on national radio shows, national TV shows, local news broadcasts. This is not a crime that's just a bunch of people are sitting back and saying, this is happening to me and no one's listening. Bullshit. This crime was covered on the Jesse Ventura Brain Invaders show. In fact, the whole entire show was about what organized stalking and gang stalking targeted individuals are experiencing. Organized stalking and gang stalking expeditions have been covered on the Ground Zero show on numerous occasions, along with the technological resources that organized stalking and gang stalking targeted individuals can experience. That's right. It's been covered on Coast to Coast AM national radio show. There's books that you can go to and buy, like going to Amazon and typing in The Invisible Crime by Mike Fitzhugh-Bell, or Electronic Torture, Electronic Rape, Technology, and Gang Stalking at the Post Office. I have both books right now in my possession. They're just not right inside my tent right now. Alright, now this is the segment of me being on the Ground Zero show on 9/17/2013. I think you better listen to it carefully. I made this video for you. Oh, hold on.
Nancy Sinatra. Yeah, it's a wide range.
Wow, that's amazing. Go to some more phone calls now. We have Leslie calling in from California, KOGO 600 AM. Hi, Leslie. You're on Ground Zero with Lisa E. Go ahead.
Yes, hi, Clyde, and hi, Lisa. Clyde, I appreciate you taking my call, and I'm going to try and make this as fast as possible. I'm a gang stalking target, and I've been a target for 12 years. I'm learning disabled, and I'm all over the internet. My blogs and YouTube videos are titled Learning Disabled Woman Being Tortured in San Diego. And the reason why I decided to call tonight was because of the information concerning what I know and who I come from in reference to the military that is invested in my family and what they were involved in. And so I'll just try and spit it out as fast as possible. My father was Chief MP to General Curtis LeMay. There's high-ranking NASA in my family, high-ranking Air Force retired, and my ex-husband was a submarine radar antenna electrician. Now, there's the microwave hearing that this individual, I forgot his name, Aaron
Alexis, yeah, he was the shooter in the Washington, D.C. Naval Yard shooting.
Okay, right. Now, the microwaves that are being transmitted against organized stalking, gang stalking targets, it's called the microwave hearing effect. And basically, it's like a computer-to-brain feedback loop where targeted individuals are subjected to non-stop, repetitive words, phrases, commands, statements, demeaning statements, things along those lines. Now, there's also machines that can keep targeted individuals awake or actually cause them to fall asleep and stay asleep as well. Now, there's a manifesto on the internet written by a manager of gang stalking titled A Gang Stalking Tech, Everything You Need to Know. MK Ultra is listed throughout the entire manifesto. Psychic Driving is as well by Irvin Cameron, which is basically for MK Ultra programming. It's been mentioned quite a few times in the manifesto. It talks about basically, and then targets of gang stalking are also subject to non-stop repetitive harassment, which is identically the same everywhere they go along all the routes physically by the physical people that are brought on board in the harassment campaign.
So Leslie, have you been targeted? Do you know this firsthand? Is that why you're telling us about this tonight?
Yeah. I've been a target for 12 years. They've literally made me homeless. And I wanted to say something, if you don't mind me saying so. That Marine that just called up, he's a target. I can tell just by what he was saying. You know, they made me homeless. I've been gang stalked at 5, 6 separate apartments, motel rooms. Okay, just like what Alicia was saying as well. They also have some technology called alpha-wave transmission, okay, which can cause a targeted individual to hear long, sustained tones in their ears and repetitive statements, words, phrases, and you would not believe the evidence I got. I'm being targeted like you would not believe in San Diego. So the reason why I called is because information about gang stalking, organized stalking, is all over the internet. The neurocognitive weapons that targeted individuals experience are all over the internet. And I personally believe from what this individual is saying that it definitely sounds like he was being gang stalked. They have equipment that can cause directed energy weapons, okay, that can cause your body to feel like it's being electrically shocked. You would not believe what we go through, Clyde. It's just...
Well, I've had a number of guests on to talk about this before, and a lot of people reduce it to just pure psychosis.
Now,
Elisa, I mean, how do we... I want to ask Elisa this. How is it that we can hear about this, and yet people are so apt to believe that it can't happen, even though we have the technology, and they're immediately writing you off as people who have psychotic breaks?
Well, as one person said, if I were literally, this is what a person responded with when some conspiracies were brought their way. If I were to believe my government could do that, I couldn't live. This what's happening, and let me just say thank you for calling in, Leslie, because the way I see it is what was done to me, I'm a microcosm of the macrocosm. There was an intensified effort on me, but what's being done now, and has been being done for some time, is mass populist targeting on MKUltra. They've got the technology now that, like I said, they don't have to start you out when you're a kid. They'll do that with a few, but they're going for the masses. And what she's talking about is real. It's so pervasive. It's absolutely stunning. And they're being experimented on, but the numbers are growing. This is coming to everyone, soon coming to a theater near you, to your home. This is the real deal. They are going into society, and they want to brain map and control everyone.
Well, I know that one of the things that were talked about both at the Bohemian Grove and the Bilderberg meeting was full spectrum control of both humans, animals, and plant life.
Everything.
This is one way to do it. Also, they're discussing the chips that are being being recommended for Obamacare and the surveillance state. So these are things that maybe we'd be used to. The idea that we'd be on full control, whether it be controlled to be under surveillance or controlled to move about and do what we're told rather than rebelling or at least revolting. And this is the thing that really is interesting, especially now when we've talked before on this program about how Barack Obama has now set aside money to fingerprint the brain. They're going in now, they're trying to figure out what makes the brain tick, and what better way to do that than to add stimulus to the brain and see how people like Leslie and Elisa and others can react to that kind of stimulus without even knowing that they're being stimulated.
And I would take that to even a little farther. What Obama's talking about has long been done in the Black Project. It's already here. If he's breaking the news, it's 50 years down the road, and that's the way it works in the high-level Black projects. And those projects are being brought now to the mass populace.
Fantastic. Leslie, do you have anything more to add before we go to the break?
Yeah, just one more fast thing, if you don't mind. I feel so bad that they're doing this, of course, to everybody, and then the future targets, but the veterans they're doing this to just burns my butt. Holographic projection, mind uploading, mind hacking, it's happening right now. You would not believe what they're doing to me. You just would not believe it. They literally set up some individuals to hike out 200 feet away from me who are constantly yelling, gang stalking, gang stalk, gang stalker, gang stalking. Oh my God, we're crazy. They repeat words and phrases along all my routes.
Alright, now the reason why I'm stopping this right now is because I want you to listen to this. What you just heard was me being on a radio show on September 17th, 2013. Hold on. Mark that date down. And you just heard me say that individuals are getting along all my... That they set up some individuals to hike out about 100 feet away from me who are constantly yelling, gang stalk, gang stalk, gang stalking, gang stalk. Oh my God, we're crazy, gang stalk. What you're about ready to hear is a segment of an audio file pertaining to an event that happened on Thanksgiving Day 2013. Well, let's see, Thanksgiving's on November 28th. I was on Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis on September 17th, 2013. Okay, so think about this. September 17th, 2013, what you're about ready to hear is a segment of an audio file of an event that took place towards me on a sidewalk on Thanksgiving Day in November. Now, one of the individuals that played a role in the event is directly connected to the idiots that they set up 100 feet away. That's right. And as they're harassing me and threatening me, they're saying gang stalk. Listen carefully how they say gang stalk together, then one says gang stalking, and then that same one says gang of stalking, I'm going to F you up. Undisputable proof that I was telling the truth on this radio show, and I can prove this event happened on Thanksgiving Day. Okay, so they said gang stalk together, then one said gang stalking, and then that same one said gang of stalking, I'm going to F you up. Just in that short bit of time period as they were harassing me and threatening me. That occurred on Thanksgiving Day 2013. This occurred, which is November 28, 2013. This was me talking on a radio show on September 17th, 2013. So it shows that I was already telling the truth about what I was experiencing here at this hiking area. Just listen to it again, me telling them, listen.
I would not believe what they're doing to me. You just would not believe it. They literally set up some individuals to hike out 200 feet away from me who are constantly yelling, gang stalking, gang stalk, gang stalker, gang stalking. Oh my God, we're crazy. They repeat words and phrases along all my routes. You would not believe the evidence I got. But I'm going to go ahead and let you go. And I just, thank you, Alicia, for coming on the show. And thank you, Clyde, for, covering this tonight. And if any targeted individuals are out there listening, I just want you to know I love you. And please just stay safe.
Leslie, I thank you for the call. I thank you. Thank you for the call. Lisa, it's amazing that you came on the show tonight and gave us the information. Once again, the book is Our Life Beyond MK Ultra. Hopefully we can have you on again to talk about this topic when it actually rears its ugly head again.
Yes, unfortunately it will, won't it?
Yes, it will. This is the second time we've had you on, and believe me, this is some fascinating stuff. Elisa, thanks so much for being on the program tonight.
Thank you, Clyde.
Have a good night. Take care.
You too.
So, I just wanted fellow targeted individuals to know to stay in the fight. All you got to do is stay in the fight. That one more day might be the magical day that God put somebody along your path that will help you. Okay? The only thing I can say to the public, if you've never heard of these crimes before, just research them and you'll see what is happening to innocent people. They shouldn't even be, they're also doing this to prisoners who have been convicted and put in prison, okay? And nowadays, you wouldn't believe what I've learned. You just would not believe what I've learned. The system is completely corrupt at the criminal level. So this does not surprise me at all concerning the fact that I have no doubt in my mind that there's more than likely innocent people in jail. But they're even, let me tell you something right now. If they set up a targeted individual to be arrested or put on and then put in jail or a psychiatric floor, the gang stalking of them will continue in these environments. That's right. They'll use fellow clients and fellow hospital patients and staff. They'll use fellow prisoners and staff. That's right. This is organized crime in the system that's perpetrating these criminal realities at the military, federal, and state level. Now, if you listen to this James Lambert and David Larson 52211 YouTube video, you'll clearly hear that they're harvesting EEG signatures of targeted individuals, so they can either, in fact, the best thing, you know what you can do? This woman's got a pretty good website. Go to Google right now and type in stopthecrimenet.com. She's got an excellent website, and then when you get to it, click on the mind control feature. That's right, and read everything. You'll literally be able to see that it's all over her website. She talks about it too. These criminal realities are happening against completely innocent people. And the torture, the rapes, the physical assaults, and the non-stop harassment are designed to produce many things. Reverse engineering of the brain for research purposes. It's also being done to harvest targeted individuals' EEG signatures and emotional clusters. John Hall talks about that in his YouTube videos as well.